uncertainties nowadays, like the trade war or like some conflict between some countries, and will it have an impact on the ESG progress of the global?
Absolutely. At a global level, I think we are lacking the consensus of leaders around the changes that we need to make, and it's urgent that we return in the future as quickly as possible to a consensus amongst global leaders about the pace of change and addressing the need to move to net zero. We in Tasmania and Australia are already net zero, but we are small. We need the whole world to become net zero, and that of course includes China and India, very large developing countries, but it also includes the United States and Europe, and the big economies of the world must cooperate, and the cooperation is lacking at the moment, and you are right, trade wars and other attitudes that it is a zero-sum competition, that one country can benefit from fighting with another country in trade wars or in other ways, is missing the point that we are all one world and we are facing global challenges, and actually we prosper as well as address sustainability by cooperating together, not by competing.
So how can we manage to cooperate again in the future? In what method can we take?
Well, I think we have to demonstrate the power of cooperation, and we can do that between Australia and China because we have such successful economic cooperation between us for decades. We can prove it in the Asia-Pacific region as a whole. The sustainable development of the Asia-Pacific has been an example to the world of how we can improve people's lifestyles, and now how we need to make sure that economic growth that must continue in the Asia-Pacific must be sustainable. So we can demonstrate to the world the benefits of cooperation, of open markets, of not treating each other as a zero-sum game, but actually as a community where we cooperate. And we are happy when our neighbours and our friends are prospering, and we're not unhappy about that. So that's a lesson we can teach to some other countries.
And I know you have a speech tomorrow.
Yes.
And what is the key message that you want to deliver to the Chinese audience?
Well, we have to find local solutions, and so I can talk about my home island of Tasmania, where we are net zero and where we are working with business to find a more and more sustainable way to maintain our lifestyle. But those local principles have to be applied everywhere around the world, and so we need to find regional and global cooperation in business. Business has to be locked into this. This has to be about the way that we do business, and so it has to be profitable. It means that the money has to be there for businesses to make from moving to a more sustainable set of practices. So governments have to cooperate in this too. They have to set the incentives. They have to create the environment for business to make this shift, the certainty, the stability over the next decades that we are moving through this process. And that's where the lack of international cooperation is a real problem, because we need a consensus that we must move in this direction and we must move fast.
But in terms of the profit, we know that if we invest some in structure, and maybe it will cost make some cost. And how to balance the cost and the profit, and the revenue and the profit?
Yeah, well, that's where government incentives and government goals are important. So we have to govern by goals. We need to determine that our future is going to be sustainable, and so governments need to create incentives for that. Governments in the past have subsidised the fossil fuel industry, for example. So we need to look at those. We have to be removing the incentives that drive businesses to invest in non-sustainable ways, and we need to find ways to provide incentives for the move to sustainability. And the most important is certainty. The most important is knowing the direction that we're heading in, and consistency and stability of the governance framework, so businesses can invest with confidence, knowing that this is the direction we must move in. It is profitable to be sustainable. Consumers want it. The technology is taking us there. Look at the rise of electric vehicles. Initially, the rollout of electric vehicles has required some subsidies, but actually over time electric vehicles are going to replace fossil fuel transport. And so ultimately the technology that especially China has been rolling out in the world is actually going to change the business model. And so that's where we have to get to. We have to get to the point that it is profitable to be investing in these new technologies and rolling them out. Once you go to scale, as China has demonstrated in solar technology, in wind power, in electric vehicles, once you produce at scale, actually the economics changes and it does become profitable to be in these businesses. So this is the direction we have to take, but we're in a process of change. So this is why I say stability, certainty, goals helps business.